Bad news. It's raining. So we gotta use the tent again. But work must go on. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is the continuation of the Mk4 series, and today, as stated, it's raining, so we got our tent set up here, but work must go on. Helen prep must continue. We got a lot of stuff we got to install today on this rainy Sunday, so we've conveniently stolen the girlfriend's wagon as our workbench in place where we can store all our parts here. And as you can see, we got a lot of stuff going on here. So we got the 034 street density mount kit going in, engine, trans, and dog bone. New hardware throughout. While we're in there, we got a new cabin filter. I don't have record the last time this was changed, so I figured, you know, while we're in there, it's right over there, so it'll be easy to get to. Serpentine belt, just because we're in there. Conti brand. Gonna put some coolant in, always good to have. And we got some other stuff going on here. I unpackaged all this stuff here. And I got this bad boy now too. Check this out. The Daytona Aluminum Race Series trans jack. Our old one was just very old, and our new one is very low. Shout out to Harbor Freight. The hookup on the jack. This thing is nice. Very excited to use it. Just set this bad boy up. But just like, I put the car on blocks, but I really don't even think I needed to. I mean, look how low that is. It's like 2.5 inches off the ground. Today, this is not going to be a how-to video. I just followed along with Charles, the Humble Mechanic. He has a video about replacing mounts. I'm just going to be documenting that I'm doing it. This is not going to be a how-to. In fact, I just learned how to do this, so I wouldn't be comfortable sharing about how to do this. I'll link it down in the description, that the video that I followed along from Charles. Shout out to Charles, the Humble Mechanic. Looking forward to seeing you in Georgia. But yeah, so we're gonna get this started today, guys. We got a lot of work to do, a lot of trash, and yeah, so we'll document this as we go along and make a little content out of it. If you have just found this video randomly and you're like, what you're not really sure what's going on here, I tried to explain it, but this is an ongoing series with this car here that I kind of bringing it back to life and getting it back to where I want it. This Mk4, well, it's just been kind of sitting for like the past 8 months and not really been driven, obviously in the winter months, and now getting into springtime, obviously getting it back to where I want it to. And this is just a long list of stuff that I've been meaning to do for a long time. I just never really gotten around to it with work life and everything else that goes on, we all know. But I randomly decided that I was going to go to the Alpine Vag Fair in Helen, Georgia, the modern day rendition of what used to be Southern Worthersea, and I went to that about a decade ago. Drop a comment down below and let me know if you've been to Sowell back in its craziness. But yeah, I haven't really been down there since, like, I think it was like 2015 or something, so, you know, I miss all the people and all the cars and all the fun stuff that goes along with it. So I'm gonna head down there. It'll be a good excuse to get the car prepped and ready. I'm not trying to make it perfect, I'm just trying to make it better than what it was, and do some maintenance. I did a little paint polish and wash into one of the other videos. The headlight install in another video. Shout out to VX Tuning. Love these things. Yeah, so if you have no idea what's going on here, feel free to go back in my library a little bit. I have a couple other videos about this Mk4, kind of explaining a little bit more in detail about what's going on. But in today's video, this is what we got going on, so stay put and enjoy. Well, I'm going to start with the easiest first. I'm going to do this cabin air filter. Like I said, I don't know the last time it's ever been changed out. I bought this car from the dealer, from the first owner who traded it back in a couple years ago, and I've never changed it, so chances are it's probably due for a replacement anyway, even if they change it. I don't know if they did or not. I guess we'll find out, but it's pretty easy to do. You just got to remove this seal here, get that out of the way, and then there's just 1, 2, 3, and 4 Phillips heads that you got to remove. Take off this plastic cover off the rain tray, and then behind there you'll see the cabin air filter. Pretty easy to get to. Yeah, I didn't think so. Good thing I'm doing this right now. Look at all the junk and leaves and sticks and twigs and everything that's in there. I think I'm gonna have to grab the vacuum and suck all that stuff out, so I don't have any chance of like dumping anything into there to the blower motor or anything like that. But yeah, it's just those 4 screws that come out, and then this trim piece, just kind of gotta finesse it out of there, but it's not too bad. I'll probably clean this up a little bit too, just because we have it out while we're in there, kind of deal. It's gonna be the theme of this maintenance and mod. While we're in there, we're just gonna do a bunch of shit. Yeah, just put the fucking screws right there on the rain tray, just like everybody else does. Yeah, we're gonna get the vacuum out and get all that sadness out of there and keep it going. I think this goes without saying, but guys, I am not by any means a technician. I am just an enthusiast that likes to do this stuff in his spare time. I mean, I've been doing this for over a decade now, messing around with fucking shitty Volkswagens, but like, I'm just an enthusiast, just making videos and making content for fun. I'm not a technician. I just figure out how to do all this stuff on my own, or watch videos and stuff. So, you know, don't follow me word from word here. Look it up, do your own research, but just saying. All right, that's a little bit better. It's definitely improvement. I just don't want any rat's nest or, you know, nasty, dirty pollen shit falling in my car. So my allergies are bad enough as it is. Anyway, next, come over here to the side, and you see this little tab right here. There's another one right behind this little harness. I don't know if you can see it right there where my finger is. You just gotta kind of pop them back like so, and then this is old, it's like stuck in there in its ways. You see that? All comes out, and then you kind of just slide it out. And we got it out, but as you can see, we got a little bit that kind of dropped in there, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but even more back there, there's still some leaves and shit's kind of stuck in there. So I'm gonna try one more time, get in there with the vacuum and get all that stuff out of there. There's a little bit more back there, but you can't really see it. It's a hard angle to get to with the camera. I'm against the strut tower, but get that cleaned out. All right, we got these all cleaned up now. I just sprayed them both down with some multi-surface cleaner, and then after that I wiped them down quick with a little chemical, guys, Silk and Shine. It's a UV protectant. It cleans plastic, vinyl, and rubber. It's almost kind of like a tire shine, but not really. I use it a lot on my interior, but seeing how these are plastic, I figured they work good with that. Also has a nice clean scent, like new car, linen-ish kind of smell. So that even if that residue gets kind of dragged through the car a little bit, which it won't because this is going to dry here in a minute, but if it did get dragged through my new cabin air filter, at least it would smell nice. And here's the plug for that. Here's what it looks like. I use this on my interior, my door cards, you know, dashboard, steering wheel, all that stuff. It's not greasy or anything like that. Once it dries, it kind of dries nice, and it leaves a nice little shine to it. Again, that's kind of hard. The lighting's kind of bad, but you can kind of see. It's still a little wet, but again, it's not really greasy or like Armor All-y or anything like that. It just looks nice and clean and new. So get that installed. Get our new filter in there. That goes in there, and reinstall. All right, so we got that reinstalled in reverse order. Just put the tray back in with the new filter on. You'll feel it kind of snap into place, and then just kind of pull up on it a little bit, make sure it's, you know, secured in place, which it was. Just put your new cleaned cover back on, and then your weather strip back on, the little guardrail thing. Install your 4 Phillips head screws, and then call it a day. So now we have a nice shiny clean plastic piece of the rain tray, and everything else looks like a fucking hot dumpster fire. So I guess we'll have to wipe the rest of it off on a nicer day here, but business is picking up with the rain. So gonna keep working here. Next, let's tear into this engine, huh? All right, so I'm starting the process of getting towards the passenger side mount here on the vehicle. Removing the coolant ball, getting that bungee corded out of the way. Same with the power steering reservoir. You don't need to drain any of the fluids out of it. We're just kind of getting stuff out of the way and held out of the way just so we can get in towards the mount here. Again, this isn't going to be a how-to video. This is just me documenting that I'm doing it for funsies, for content, you know, the whole nine. If you want to learn how to do this, just go watch Charles' video. All right, now that we got some of that stuff out of the way, now we can kind of get down to the mount itself. I had to remove this bracket. There's a Phillips head holding that bracket, this guy here, onto the AC line, so you had to remove that as well. I don't think that's the same on all Mark IVs, maybe just the R32. It's a little bit more special, a little bit more involved, but they're all more or less the same. Once you get to this part, now it's time to lay on the wet ground and support the engine. I use a small block of wood, put underneath my new jack there just to prevent damage to the oil pan. You just gotta raise it up a little bit, kind of just to take the pressure off. And then now you're ready to start taking these bolts out up top. All right guys, so we got the mount out of the car. This is our new one. Look how nice it looks compared to this one. Very sad, collapsed. Looking at it from the back, kind of see how collapsed it is, how it has movement. Looking in comparison of the two, this rubber is a lot nicer, newer. Obviously, this one's a lot softer. It just kind of moves. This whole thing moves. I can literally take it right out of there with minimal effort with one hand. It's not supposed to move. I'm putting all my force into it with one hand. It's not supposed to do that. This is what you're supposed to have. And then you got to go ahead and match all your old hardware with the new hardware. It's from the kit. The 218s for the engine side and the 216mm from the body side. Obviously, I took the old bolts, measured them up, make sure they were right length and all that, right size and everything, and then put them in this bag so I don't get them mixed up with the new stuff. All right, so we got our new passenger side mount in there, engine, whatever you want to call it, mount in, tightened, secured, torqued, checked, wiggled, and now I'm getting ready to switch over to the transmission side, the driver side, the other side. So I'm taking apart the air box now, filter, gonna remove the lower air box, and then this trim covering that covers the engine harness that runs to the back of the battery box, and then you can access everything you need to access. So let's move all that out of the way. I swear, working on Mark IVs and anything newer, it's just like half of the time you're just spending getting shit out of the way so you can access 4 bolts. It's annoying, and it's a common theme on these newer cars with all this plastic and accessories and luxuries and electrical know-how. I mean, this car is basically 20 years old, but like still the amount of stuff they have to move out of the way just to get to like what you're trying to do is annoying. With all that being said, we got all this stuff out of the way, uncovered our wire harness. There's a 13mm that goes into there, and then a 2 16s, and then the 2 18s right here that go from the mount to the transmission. Got to remove all those. Come over here to your bolt pile. These are all the ones that came out of the car, and then you got to go ahead and match them up with all your new hardware here. Whew, golly. All right, now that we got that out, got the mount out, I went ahead, I wiped down some of the stuff that we were working with, top of the airbox. This thing, even though it kind of got wet again, with our chemical guys, Silk Shine. And then I went ahead, took a can of brake clean, and just started spraying in here a little bit, trying to avoid some of the electrical stuff, obviously, but like top of the transmission, the mount area, you know, stuff like that that has a lot of grease and grime on it, trying to get some of it out of there. I didn't really see too many leaves or anything like that I could like vacuum up, but rather just like, you know, grease and oil and stuff, you know, stuff that travels down over time. So tried to spray and clean some of that up a little bit while we're in here, got all this stuff out of the way, might as well. So we'll let that air out a little bit before we continue. Get a little woozy. Here's our old mount. By the way, I'm like all the way through this project, but like I never talked about the mounts that we're actually putting in the car. So they're actually the 034 Motorsport Street Density. They're just like a slight upgrade over the OEM stiffness. They're still rubber and everything, as you can see, no polyness. Like Charles, I agreed with Charles on this one. This car is not going to be a track car by any means, but just like a Sunday driver kind of deal. So if you have a race car and have poly and stiffness and motor vibration and harshness and all that, that's great. But for me, I don't need any of that. I don't want that in my car, so I'm going with the street density. I'm trusting his opinion on this, and there's still a slight, like I said, slight upgrade over OEM. They're not soft by any means, but they're, you know, good for what we're trying to accomplish here, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to the people at 034 Motorsport. Got my new mounts here quickly, got my new bolt kit ready to go. All right, last but not least, our new matching 034 street density mount line dog bone mount, or pendulum, whatever you want to call it. Our brand new hardware. Guys, make sure you get new hardware when you're doing motor mounts. They're stretch bolts, one-time use. I know some people don't, but this is a, you know, my R32, so I'm not gonna fuck around like that. Got that set. Still raining. Got our jack underneath the car, and the car supported with a jack stand as well, just in case. And I have already replaced the dog bone mount before. This is a One Love Auto Group dog bone mount. Oh my gosh, dude, the rain. One Love Auto Group dog bone mount here. Shout out to One Love. I'm gonna get this one out, and just because I'm replacing the other ones, I'm gonna replace this one as well. So let's get under here, get these bolts out, and replace it. All right, that one's done. The dog bone is by far the easiest of the mounts. It's just the 4 bolts, and it's literally all right in front of you. You don't have to move anything out of the way. Disconnect, unplug, or unscrew, or remove, or zip tie, or bungee cord to the side. Self-explanatory. 2 16s in the front, shorter one followed by the longer one that goes right there, and then into the subframe, the 2 13mm longer ones. Snug them down, torque them. Google up the torque spec. Make sure you use the jack stand. Don't kill yourself underneath a Mark IV, it's not worth it. And then, yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna be tired tonight and tomorrow. All right, last thing I'm doing today, wrapping it up. I have to install some resistors on the ground and the high beam line for my headlight harness. Reason being, I'm having some not having issues, but LED, when you're running full LED bulbs in a Mark IV that didn't come with LED bulbs, there sometimes can be some issues. So I reached out to Mike at VX Tuning, and he got back to me very quickly, sent me over a pair of Morimoto resistors, which look like this. All you have to do is just tap into your ground and high beam line for this particular instance, and I described what was going on. He let me know, just got to install these in here. He just sent them out free of charge. Big shout out to Mike at VX Tuning. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. That is great customer service. So we already did the one on this side. I don't know if it's hard to see. You just tap into your lines there, put the resistors on, put the lines in, bam, there you go. So on this one we're going to do the same thing. I just got to pull back the loom a little bit, identify the wires, which I know is pin number 8 and number 9, I'm pretty sure. So 8, second one in from the right on the top, and then the lower most right one on the lower. So tap into those. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. All right, so I've identified the 2 lines that I got to tap into. Now guys, this is how I do it. All right, I figured out this works the best way for me without getting the lines all mixed up, because there's a bunch of wires here, as you can see. I just single out the 2 wires I need, stick a flathead in there, and then that way I can kind of just separate them a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and I identify which ones I need to tap into, and then put all the other ones kind of to the side so I don't get any of them mixed up. There's 0 chance. And it also helps me if I push, I can't do it with one hand, but if I push back on the lumen a little bit, it helps me pull back a little bit, just enough to get into where I need to work into. And you don't need a whole lot of room, you don't need a whole lot of wire, but this is just all I need right here. So this is what we're kind of doing here. You got to install these little clips right here. This is what they look like. Bam. What they do is they close to close over top of the wire. And then once you got that snapping secured in place, right here is where you slip in the male end of your Morimoto resistor, and that way it can like feed into whatever it's doing and do its job. See what I'm saying? So you're just gonna tap into those two lines like that, put these little clips on. There's two wires here, hook them in, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and call it a day. Now this is what they should look like once you attach those male ends into the little blue clips that we put on. Make sure they're snugged on. Now all you had to do is plug your headlight connector back in, try not to get rained on, and then stick your resistor somewhere out of the way, somewhere tucked up nice. Now these do get hot, so try to attach it somewhere that's going to be metal, or you know, not melt plastic or something, inconspicuous area. So we'll see what we got going on here. I'll have to figure that out, but yeah, that's all there is to it, guys. All right guys, well, we got her all back together. Looking, running strong, shifting good. Thing feels great. Engine's a little bit tighter. My mounts weren't bad, but definitely that engine mount on the passenger side was definitely bad. Otherwise, I mean, I definitely noticed a difference, but it doesn't really feel like a whole lot of difference, because I also had that upgraded mount, dog bone mount underneath the car as well. But everything feels good, looks good, operates well, dude. Thing's rock solid, dude. It feels great. But got my lights worked out too. They're all nice and good. So, oh, that's a day in the books, dude. This may not seem like that long of a video, but guys, this literally took me most of the afternoon, a couple hours now, getting all that squared up and done, because I had to refer to the video a couple times and dealing with stuff that kind of sucked, and I took 2 breaks, went and got something to eat, but got her all finished up. Looks good, feels good, runs good, shifts good. I just got to fix that one connector off the coolant ball, and then everything will be perfect. But yeah, now I got to clean up all this nonsense, the tent, everything, pull all the tools back, clean everything up. But yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. If you made it to the end, drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Got a Mark IV, you're looking to do some upgrades, if you're going to Helen, Alpine Vag Fair, all that stuff, let me know. I'll be down there, come say what's up. But yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.